This is 10 licks in the style of Kirk Hammett. Everything is in the key of E. Let's break down the licks one by one. Here's the first lick. So there's the first lick. Let's break this down. First off, let's talk about the scale here. The scale used here is not the minor scale, it's the harmonic minor scale. So it's the E harmonic minor scale. What that means is it's a minor scale with a raised seventh, so a major seventh. And that note, the raised seventh, is this 16th fret on the second string here. So let me play through the scale just in this position so you can see what it sounds like. Starting on the E, the 14th note on the 14th fret on the second string, or fourth string rather. It sounds like this. So that unique note is the 16th fret on the second string. That's what makes this lick the harmonic minor scale. But other than that, it's a fairly basic Kirk Hammett style ascending lick. He plays licks similar to this a lot. I've heard this on Injustice for All, and I think he plays it in a couple places on Ride the Lightning. So a really cool sounding scale, and you can get away with it when you're playing metal, just playing over that root key. So if you're playing over the E, you can get away with this scale. Sounds pretty cool. So let's break it down. There's a triplet at the beginning here, so that's just 11, 12, hammer on pull off. Then we're just climbing up the scale there, so really slowly that part is this. 11, 12, 14 on the third string, 12, 13 on the second string. So far we got this. Then we do another hammer on pull off, another triplet, 12, 13, 12 on the second string. So basically the same phrasing as that first group of notes. So, and there we got that 16th fret on the second string. So we basically repeat that same sequence twice at the beginning, just on the next spot up on the scale. So it's like this. So that's what we got so far. And then we go kind of the same phrasing again. So climbing up 12, 14 in the first string. Then we do another triplet, 12, 14, 12, hammer on, pull off. So far we got this. And then from there we climb down the harmonic minor scale. So 16, 13, so 16, 13. That's kind of a weird stretch. I'm playing that with my fourth finger, my second finger, so. Then 12th fret on the first string. So in the second bar now, basically we have this. And then the last few notes are just 13, 12, pull off, and that's the whole lick. So let's play through this a couple more times at a slow speed. So there's the next lick. This is a fast descending lick, but the idea is pretty simple. We're just going down the E minor scale, doing a triplet pull off, and then followed up by two notes at 16th note speed. So the rhythm of the lick all the way through is like this. that's the basic idea. So triplet, 2 notes, and we just repeat that down the E minor scale. So it's hard to get the fingering just right when you're playing up high in the neck like that. Your fingers so close together, but we just repeat that down the scale. So we do that same thing again, starting on the 20th fret now, pull off 19, 17, and then 15 twice. So, and then we just proceed down the E minor scale. And then after I get to that position down here, land on the 12 twice, or just once. So that's it. Really simple idea. This is a lick that's fairly easy to play fast, and Kirk Hammett plays this lick quite a few songs that I record. I think Blackened, a couple other songs where he plays a really similar lick to this. But cool, really fast, easy descending lick. Let's play through it a couple more times at a slow speed. This lick is really similar to a lick from the solo to Injustice for All. That solo is played in F sharp, I believe. This is down in E, obviously, but same basic lick. Really pentatonic. There's one extra note here that's not in the pentatonic scale, but basically E minor pentatonic in some big stretches. So that's the difficult part of this lick. So let's break it down. The first part, straight pentatonic, really easy with a pull off, really straightforward. Then we do 2 pull off 17, 12, and that's a big stretch. I'm pulling off fourth to the first finger. So and then you hit 15, 12 on the second and first string, and then you do 18, 12 pull off, an even bigger stretch. So it's 17 pull off and then 18 to 12 pull off twice. So we got this. So, and that's another unique sounding note here, this 18th fret here. Now that's out of the scale. It's kind of an outside note, but kind of gives this lick a little bit of character. Then the rest of the lick is just straight back to the E minor pentatonic scale. That little thing right there. So that's the lick. Let's break it down and play it a couple more times at a slow speed. There's the next lick. This is a really Kirk Hammett signature pentatonic style lick. Also very similar to something from the Injustice for All solo, but really similar to, I think, a lot of the pentatonic stuff he does on Kill 'Em All. He plays a ton of pentatonic scale on that album. So similar to a lot of those licks too. Let's break this down. This is just straight E minor pentatonic all the way through. The part that's really Kirk Hammett, I guess, is the patterns that he chooses to play. Especially this first one here. So really basic starting off, bend up 14, just 12, 15 pull off, and then 15, 12 pull off on the first string and the second string. That's the part of the lick that really sounds like signature Kirk Hammett to me. Then we play that same lick again. So we kind of play that part twice. It's kind of a repeating little line there. In the part after it is different in the first and second section. So it's And then I'm picking both those notes on the 14 and 12 when I get down to the 4th string. Just a downstroke, upstroke. Then the next part of the lick is just, again, straight E minor pentatonic basic stuff. Pull off 14, 12 on the 3rd string, then do that twice in the 4th string. Then pick 14, 12, 10 on the 5th string. So the last part is basically this. So that's it. Let's play through this lick a couple more times at a slow speed. So this lick is obviously really similar to the opening lick to the solo to 1. Really classic Kirk Hammett style tapping lick here. The trick here is that we are tapping, for every pattern, we're tapping twice. So we're tapping 19 and then 15 pulling off the 12 on the first one. And then next time we tap, we do 12, 15 hammer on. So really slow, it's like this. So don't play this wrong. I hear some people play this wrong sometimes, and it's like, and that's not it. He's tapping twice. He's doing two triplet patterns. And then from there, so that's the basic pattern all the way through. And in the solo, I think he plays this 4 times in each pattern. I'm playing it twice. This is, my simplified version of the lick here. 19, then we tap on 20, but we keep our left hand in the same place here, pulling off 15, 12. So it's like this. Tip 2 for tapping. It's just like legato. When you pull off, you're pulling down off the string. Same thing when you're tapping with your left hand here. You want to make sure that you're pulling down off the string to get the note to ring loudly. If you just let go, you don't get quite the volume. It doesn't sound very good. So that's the trick to tapping. So after that first part, we go down to the 2nd string and just repeat the same pattern. And that's it. That's the whole lick. Let's play it a couple more times through at a slow speed. There's the next lick. This lick is also taken from the solo to 1, a really simple repeating lick in the E minor scale, basically. Pulling off 17, 15 on the 1st string in a triplet pattern. So 16th note triplets. 17, 15, pull off 17, and then 15, 17, 19 hammer on the 2nd string. So that's it. I'm doing all hammer-ons and pull-offs here. I think when he plays it in the solo, he does more picking than this, but that's the basic notes right here. Kind of a tricky hammer-on pattern because it's so high up on the neck. So this makes for a pretty good exercise too. So that's it. Let's play it a couple more times through at a slow speed. So here's a Really simple Kirk Hammett Triad type of lick idea. I've heard him play this in quite a few songs. He does it in a few different places on Ride the Lightning. And the basic idea here is you have this simple repeating pattern and you kind of play it in a triad and move it up or down the neck. And this goes really well if you have the chords that match the triads being played underneath. I'll explain what that means in a second. So first, the pattern is this. That's the pattern. So really slow. So you basically play this, that 4 notes, and then you play this 6-note pattern twice. It's played at 16th notes, but it's a 6-note pattern. So that's the pattern. Now, when he moves up the neck, he plays it in a shape that's a major triad. So the next part of the lick is the same exact pattern. It's just moved up a little bit and it's playing in a triad. It's been playing in basically a D major triad because we got the D note here, we got the F sharp on the 14th fret on the first string, and we have the A on the 17th fret of the first string. That's the same thing as D. And this lick, I kept it really simple, but you could keep on moving with this idea up the neck and play triads up the neck and go all the way up or down the neck. But it's the same pattern, so you just take that same pattern and move it up or down the neck. So if I were to play the second part, it would sound like this. Same exact pattern, just moved up. I could even move it up. That pattern is 19-15 pull off, and then 17 on the second string, but same pattern. And then I can move it up even again. So this is a cool lick, and you can do this whenever you're playing over that chord progression. It sounds really good. Like I said, if you play an E, and then you play D, this lick would work really good over that. You play this one over the E, and then this one over the D. So that's the basic idea of this lick. Listen to Ride the Lightning, listen to that album. He does that in a few places on this album, on that album. So let's play this through a couple more times at a slow speed. So there's the next lick. This is inspired by one of the licks from the solo to 1. He plays it in a different area. It's a slightly different lick, but the rhythm is very much the same. We're playing in the E minor pentatonic scale here. We do a triplet and then land on an 8th note and hold that for an 8th note and do the same pattern again. So the pattern is basically this. And we move down the scale, but that's the same pattern we play throughout the lick. So then we move down the E minor scale a little bit and pull 15, 14, 12 and land on the 15. So then we do this, then down on the second string, 15, 13, 12, pull off, then on the 13. So sounds awesome if you play it fast. That's the next part, and then finally 14, 12, 11 pull off, or 14, 12 pull off and then slide down to the 11, and then land on the 12th fret on the 3rd string. And then finally end up on the E 14th fret on the 4th string. So that's it. Let's play it through it a couple more times at a slow speed. There's the next lick. Let's break this down. This one is similar to a descending lick from the solo to shortest straw, kind of sort of similar to that, at least the rhythm to it. So it's a triplet pull off and then followed up by 2 16th notes. We're just kind of moving again down the E minor scale again. Pretty simple idea. So here's the basic rhythm. That's it. Then we move down the E minor pentatonic scale. So now we're pulling off 15, 14, 12, and then landing on 15 on the second string and then 12 on the first. So we got... We're just repeating that pattern down. So then 14, 12, 10 pull off. So, and when I get down to this, I think I tend to pull off with my fourth finger to second to first. Then 12, 8, 10 pull off. Then the rhythm, I mixed it up a little bit here. I did 16th notes, and then a 16th note triplet pattern, and then bend up on the 10th. So that last section, that second bar is this. Didn't hit a couple notes there, but that's it right there. So basically play that descending pattern all the way through, then we get to the second bar and we do that thing. And that's it. So that's the whole lick. Let's play through it one more time at a slow speed. So I wasn't going to get through this lesson without playing this lick. This is obviously the intro lick, or really similar to the intro lick from the solo to master of puppets, the fast part, the fast solo to master of puppets. I think he picks every note or almost every note on the solo. I did a lot of pull-offs and hammers to make this a bit easier, but it's the same basic idea. It's a 16th note triplet pattern in just it's a repeating lick with a bit of a stretch in it. So here's the basic pattern. That's 17, pulling off the 12, and doing that with my fourth finger, obviously, and then doing my second finger to do the 13, 12, 13 hammer on. I think I'm doing a downstroke when I get up to the, or an upstroke when I get back up to the first string. And then I'm starting each pattern with a downstroke. So that's my picking pattern. And all we're doing here is the same pattern, but the second time around we're pulling off from the 15th fret, not the 17th fret. So and that's the basic lick. Let's play through it a couple more times at a slow speed.